Good afternoon everyone. On the part of daily mains program, daily mains practice, I gave you yesterday 4 questions, 2 from the Indian polity and governance and 2 questions from the Hindu editorial as a dynamic questions. Out of these 4 questions, okay, 2 are this 250 questions, 2 are 150 words questions. Okay, just let's start with the first question. Okay, the first question, look at this one. What is the supreme objective of the Indian Constitution? What is the supreme objective of the Constitution of India? And critically review. Critically review. See, look at this one. What is the supreme objective of the Indian Constitution? And the another sub question of this one, critically review the last 73 years existence towards achieving this objective. Critically review the last 73 years of the constitutional existence towards achieving this objective. This is the question. It's a beautiful question. You need, you should have complete understanding over the Indian Constitution to give the effective answers to this question. See, we have completed 73 years of the constitutional existence period. It came into effect in 1950, January 26th, 50, present 2023. That is what? 73 years, that's why. Okay? In its 73 years existence, how it, to what extent it achieved its supreme objective of the Indian Constitution. Now, we should attempt. So I told you yesterday also, I am always repeating this word. This each and every questions of the UPSC, having each and every question of UPSC contains 5 components. There are 5 components. 5 components in each and every question. What are the components? That is what important. So in other words, first you should understand the entire question in letter in spirit, so that you can produce effective answer. So first you should understand the question. How to understand the question? You have to understand the various components of this question. These components may be either explicitly or implicitly present. What are the 5 components of each and every question? Number 1 is task words or the question tags. Number 1 is task words or question tags. Task words. Number 2 is keywords or important words. The task words here, what or else define the supreme objective of the Indian Constitution, or what is the supreme objective of the Indian Constitution. Another word is critically review. This is the 2 words, review plus critically. Critically review. There is an adjective is also there. What is this critically review? Review with the critical outlook, not criticism. Critically is nothing but not a criticism. It is a critical outlook while reviewing this achievement. Okay, there are 2 task words are there. Here what? Define. Define is nothing but not only give the definition, but you should give the certain characteristics of that important issue. That's what the definition. Number 2, critically review. Review is nothing but examine or evaluate, in other words. But evaluate is different from the review. Okay, review. Achievement. What is the positive achievements, negative achievement? Why it could not achieve? Finally, you should give finally you should give the certain suggestions as well as. This is what complete outlook of this critically review. Okay, this task force. After that, keywords. What are the keywords? The supreme objective of the Indian Constitution, 73 years of its existence, etc. These are the keywords. Next, the second one is keywords. I will take some session related to this session, don't worry, as a part of AWACS program. The third one is content words. Content words is nothing but they can generate content. The same keywords is also content words in most of the cases. The fourth one is limiting words. What are the limiting words? In terms of time. Time is nothing but 73 years of this one. Before that we need not discuss. After that we need not discuss. This time period is important. That's what 1950 to 2023. We should talk about this time period. That's what limiting time, limiting words. Another limiting word, subcategory of limiting words is geographical. This is related to India only. No need to go beyond India, except some comparison purposes only. Okay, that's what limiting time in terms of time, in terms of geography, in terms of subject. What is this subject? Polity, mostly political in nature, political, social, etc., etc. So this is the limiting. Next one is fifth part is sub question. There are two sub questions in this part. Why should we recognize these sub questions? Because what is supreme objective? This is one question. This is another sub question. How many words out of 250 words? Around 50-60 words should be for this one, remaining 180 or 200 words for this remaining. This classification is important, otherwise you will lose the marks. Okay, this is what. So in order to give an effective answer, first you should understand the question by understanding the 5 components, important components, essential components of each and every question. That's what task words, keywords, content words, limiting words, and sub questions of that question, sub questions of that main question. Okay, this is what. Now let's start this answer. What is the supreme objective of the Indian Constitution? Okay, in this objectives of the Indian Constitution, mostly we can see in preamble of our Constitution. Preamble, where what are the main objective? Justice, equality, fraternity, and liberty. Justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. These are the main chief objective of the Indian Constitution. Out of this one, justice, this word is important, where social, economic, and political justice is more important. In other words, the main supreme objective, in a more concise way, the main supreme objective of the Indian Constitution is to establish welfare state. What do you mean by welfare state? Social, economic, and political justice for all regions, for all of its citizens. Okay, that is what socio-economic and political justice. In other words, this welfare state. In order to achieve this welfare state, okay, we should provide this according to Constitution. The Constitution ensures certain fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy, reservation process, etc., etc. Various means also there, and also good government setup at the national level and central level. Okay, and also this Article 40 of this Constitution is also ensure this panchayat, local governance, because to establish, to achieve the political inclusiveness. Unless we have the political inclusiveness, we can't ensure social justice. If we have these two things, we can achieve this inclusiveness, all inclusiveness. In this way, the supreme objective of the Indian Constitution is to establish welfare state. Okay, social, economic, and political justice. For that, we have a lot of means in Indian Constitution. That's what the supreme objective of the Indian Constitution. This is what the definition. Next, critically review its last 73 years existence towards achieving this objective. So to what extent it achieved? So we should evaluate, we should critically review. Critically, both positive side and negative side. That's what important. Okay, now for the last 73 years, since its inception, since it came into existence in 1950, January 26th, the Constitution of India has been assiduously doing a lot of effort to achieve its supreme objective of welfare state. What is, in terms of economically, we adopted this 5-year plan for the speedy growth, speedy development across the sectors and across the regions and across the people. Okay, that's what. So we achieved a lot. Only around a small, meager, around 1% of the global GDP. Now around 3.5% of the GDP. So now India become a 5th largest economy. Okay, 8th largest industrialized nation. One of the richest agricultural system. We assured this food security and nutritional security to the people. Though Indian population becomes 5.5 times compared to 36 crores of the population in 1947. Now it is around 1.4 billion population, 5.5 times, 5.5 times more than the population of the independence time. However, we could ensure this food security. That is the greatest achievement. In almost all sectors, even sub-sectors, India achieved unimaginable achievements. Okay, this is what happened economically and socially also. We eradicate so many things. We assaulted the various discriminations against certain sections like casteism. It reduced phenomenally. It reduced to a great extent. Now women participated a lot. Participating rural areas exponentially increased. Their economical opportunities have been increased. Okay, per capita income has been increased. So literacy has been increased, health opportunities have been increased. So education, now around 70% of this literacy. At the time of independence it is only 18% only. So we have achieved a lot socially, economically, even politically also. We assured political, this women participation, local governance, okay, various sections, this one. So there has been a complete transformation as far as social, economic and political justice are concerned. However, this is the positive side. However, so we should write down negative side. What are the negative side? Still, though we achieved a lot, okay, socially, still there is a decadent social system is there. Still casteism is there. Literacy is only 70%. What about 30% of illiterates? It is around more than the population of this United States of America, our illiterate population. So nutrition security, according to this HDI index, lower middle class economy, this HDI index, HDI in terms of human development index, it is far less than certain developing countries, India. Okay, that's what. Later, in terms of this food security is overall okay at micro level. What about the micro level? That's what nutrition security is still elusive for various certain sections of the people in certain areas of the population. Women participation is less. Okay, less wages for the people. Still their workforce is less. So across the sectors, agriculture sector is still facing agricultural distress, rural distress, etc., etc. So political inclusiveness still elusive for various sections of the people, especially these women. And our political system is not a democratized. This is the politically, it is a family dynastic politics. Okay, caste based. Various lacunas are there in our political system. Okay, we have the local bodies, we 73rd, 74th amendment, it is the greatest the transformation. However, in order implementing still less, still lacuna, various discrepancies are there as far as the implementation of 73rd, 74th amendment act. So in this way, still we achieve a lot in order to fulfill the supreme objective of Indian constitution, that is the welfare state. So what are the suggestions we should give? So in the Amrit Kal, in the remaining 25 years period, it should act as a, we should retrospect ourselves, our policy makers, politicians, leadership and responsible persons in our society should retrospect about the 73 years of these efforts of the Indian constitution. No doubt at all, Indian constitution is the greatest constitution, but the only thing is lack of implementation. So good governance, this inclusive development, everything should achieve for that purpose. We should look into this issue and should formulate policies. Okay, that's what finally suggestions. Next, second question. However good a constitution may be. Second question. However good a constitution may be, it turns out to be bad if those who implement it are bad. Okay? However bad a constitution may be, it turns out to be good if those who implement it are good. Okay? In the context of this famous statement given by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, critically examine the state of Indian democracy in the spirit of the Indian constitution. This famous statement has been given Dr. B.R. Ambedkar while discussing on the constitution, the Constituent Assembly in 1949. So it is a very famous statement and still it is relevant, and with a vision, okay, with insightfulness, he has given this statement. Even after 73 years also, this statement is the one of the parameter, yardstick to measure the implementing authority of the efficacy of the implementing authority of the Indian Constitution. Who are implementing Indian Constitution? So there are three wings are there: judiciary, legislative bodies, and executive. These are three implementing authority. Out of this judiciary and executive, the most important thing is the legislatures. That is what leaders, political parties. This is the most important implementing authority. The second one is executive. The judiciary is only overview the how they are implementing. That is not come to the existence of this one. But however, that is the guardian. So if they are good, even bad constitution is also will become good. If they are bad, even good constitution also turns to be bad. This is what the greatest statement given by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in the Constituent Assembly even 73 years back. So in view of this statement, critically examine. See, look at this is the tag, this is task word, most important thing. Critically examine. Examine is nothing but both positive side and the negative side. Pros and cons. This is what. And the state of Indian democracy. What is the state of Indian democracy now? In view of this statement, that's what the question. 150 words question. Okay, 10 marks. Okay, look at this one. There are three wings. Okay, political parties are most important because political parties will produce elected representative. Elected representatives are there in two areas. For example, an MP. MP is the elected representative. And also executive. Elected representative is nothing but executive. On the other hand, is the part of legislature bodies. So elected, which means the political parties providing giving an opportunity to a person to become part of executive as well as and legislative bodies. So in this way, political parties are most implementing authorities. But what political parties are doing? Political parties are giving tickets to whom? To whom? These criminals mostly, according to this Association for Democratic Reforms. Association for Democratic Reforms, out of the 793 MPs in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, 40% having the criminal background. Out of it, 25% severe criminal cases. That's what. Even at the legislative, state level also. Most of the criminalization of the politics. So these criminals are filling our legislative bodies, our executive. Executive is not only job holders, civil servants. Even the MP is also part of the executive. This is what the state of our democracy. As far as our democracy, this is the central level, state level and local bodies level. Locally, we had to implement all the provisions of 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts related to rural areas and urban areas respectively. So still they are suffering from the lack of powers, especially financial powers, lack of continuous elections. So Indian democracy lack at local body level. At the state level, still mostly these regional parties, dynastic politics, have a lot of political corruption, no implementation of existing laws. That's what lack of good governance is more danger, more severe at the state level. At the central level, we have strong constitutional bodies, no doubt at all. But still lacunas are there at the national level. For example, appointment of governors. This constitution is silent as far as certain issues are concerned. But by taking the advantage from this constitutional silence, because this silence is very important to give a flexibility to the this governing authority to change according to the times. That's why constitution is silent. For instance, the constitution is not defined what is secularism. It didn't define what is certain words. Why? Because we have to, this definition will change according to the time and situations as case may be. So it is given. That is why Indian constitution is all this affable, flexible and assimilative in nature. That's why it has been a living constitution. It is relevant to the any time. For example, it came into effect in 1950. 1950 situation of the socio-economic political situation of the country entirely different compared to the 2023. But however, the same constitution which produced in 1950 is still relevant. Why? Because this is a flexible. It is adaptable. That is why. So by taking advantage from this one, we are not inactive. That's what. So still we have a lot. As far as this discussion is concerned, Okay, still lacunas are there on the part of implementing authorities. That's why, though it is a good call, no doubt at all, Indian constitution is one of the best constitution in the world. But however, best constitution, not only that, it is in accordance with our socio-economic and political system, especially our civilization. Our civilization is one of the oldest and living civilization. Okay, this is Indian constitution is befitted to this living civilization to revitalize it. That's what happening. India is reviving. It's earlier, once it has lost glory, has been reviving under the guidance of this constitution. In this way, okay, indeed, the Indian constitution one of the best constitution in India, and it is befitted to India. But whatever the lacunas are there in the Indian governance process, this is not because of the constitution. It is because of the implementing authority. Okay, for example, political parties, political system, criminalization of politics, lack of implementation, lack of good governance. Okay, still lacunas are there, lack of inclusiveness, etc. So implementation is foremost important. So that is why, insightfully, as a prophecy, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has given this statement, a beautiful measured statement. Okay, next, the third question, it is from the Hindu paper, Hindu editorial. Is the UN toothless in ending wars? And also second, there are two editorials yesterday. The revenge of world West Asia. There are two editorials yesterday related to this ongoing Hamas and Israel war. The question is, I prepared a question on this one. The persistent, this is related to this economy, this is related to this one. Okay, first let's discuss about the fourth question related to this one. The Hamas appalling attack on Israel and subsequent Israel's devastating response indeed unprecedentedly brought the whole world to the verge of Third World War. Discuss. Here the question tag is discuss. What do you mean by discuss? In 360 degrees angle, 360 degrees oriented discussion related to that issue. That's in other words, social, economical, political, geopolitical situation, international, regional development, okay, various psychological, philosophical, various aspects of that issue, even historical aspect also. Unprecedentedly, the whole world comes to the edge of Third World War because of the ongoing Hamas war, Hamas-Israel war. How? 150 words. See, look at this one, discuss. Okay, on October 7th, Hamas, the so-called freedom fighters on behalf of Palestinian people, okay, attacked the Israel and killed around 1400 people, innocent population of the Israel. Israel is one of the greatest nation in terms of the military hardware, economic power, etc., and also it is a regional superpower of the Middle East. It's around 57 countries, Organization of Islamic Nations, countries are surrounded this Israel. However, Israel is a superpower because it waged a wars in 1948, 1967, 68 and in 2000, early 2000, Intifada, etc. Now this Hamas war. So in all wars, it is a undefeatable. It is a matchless winner because of its, it indicates this is the superpower status, military hardware, modern weaponry and sophisticated weaponry. Okay, in response to this Hamas appalling attack, the Israel response, it is a devastating response because it is using F-35 fifth generation aircrafts, F-16s, F-35, okay, F-22 Raptor, Iron Dome, this laser, white phosphorus bombs, they use sophisticated weaponry they are using against stateless people. That is what Hamas, that is Gaza Strip. So what is happening? This is the state of Hamas and Israel war. It is a minute part because Hamas is the stateless, a small 2.2 million population is there in Gaza. However, Israel is a less population, around 4 to 5 million population, around 7,000 square kilometer area, very less country. But how this a simple situation has brought the whole world at the edge of the Third World War? Because it is a vexed problem, West Asia. That's what he given this revenge of world West Asia. Okay, in that article. So this is the deep, profound problem and vexed problem of the globe. Okay, as far as compared to any other problem of the globe. Okay, Israel, this is related to Arabs and Christian, Jews and Arabs problem. Or Christian versus this Muslim world. That is Israel. That is what? In 1948, the UK and United Kingdom clearly, UK and United States of America created a Jewish nation in that area. Okay, after 17th until before 7th century itself, the Jews were dispersed, left this area. But in the 20th century, 19th century, again they returned under the aegis of UK and USA, UK and USA. They settled down, they created artificially the Jewish state created. So to create this artificial, these Arabs are dead against. Since then it has been continuing as a burning problem of the globe. Now because of this Hamas, this is subsequent to this Israel's response against this Arab people, whole Arab nation, that is under the organization of Islamic countries, 57 nations group, they are uniting, okay, they are protesting. If they responded to protect if they responded in a way to protect the Arabs from the Israeli attack, so Israel should attack, that would be converted into a war between the Organization of Islamic Countries and Israel. Israel is not a single country. Already United States immediately responded by deploying their two important aircraft forward, R-4, etc., etc. So US is already there in war by providing a shield, security shield to Israel in the Mediterranean Sea. So it would be turned to be a Organization of Islamic Countries and this one. Okay, this Gaza Strip, where it is Hamas. Now if at all this Hezbollah involved from Lebanon, the war will be spillover. So Iran, this Hezbollah is nothing but Hezbollah is being backed by Iran. So Iran, it would become a war between Israel and Iran. So once Iran involved, all Islamic countries, by leaving aside this Shia Sunni differences, every country should protect, because that is related to their glory. Okay, their fame. If Iran involved, Saudi Arabia will be pulled into the war, because if Israel will become regionally heavyweight. So all Muslims liked Iran. That's why Saudi Arabia came. So in this way, it would become the war between the whole Islamic world and Western countries like Germany, this one, which means NATO, led by United States. That would be this one. Already this Russia and China mostly supported this Iran and this Palestine. So in this way, it would be a war between the United States of America, China, Russia axis. So it would become a third world war. In that way, this present Hamas ongoing Israel war has pushed the world to the edge of this one. It's very near. If it is prolonged, 1 to 2 months, world will face this third world, unprecedented war situation. That's what the discussion, a deep discussion. Okay, next question. The persistent inflation in an economy will have cascading effect on overall economy. Elucidate. This is a very important task word. What do you mean by elucidate? This is the out of the all task or question tags. This elucidate word is very important, because that's the toughest. What do you mean by elucidate? Elucidate is nothing but to expose, to clarify. Okay, that's what meaning of elucidate. Elucidate is not a simple explanation. Explanation is only expanding it. Whereas elucidate, clarify. As if you using torchlight to see the things in darkness, you should expose. You should clarify the things behind this main important issue of that one. Inflation. How inflation affects the economy. In other words, cascading effect. Inflation. First, immediately you should start 150 words. You should start with the definition. That would be the what I call is the definition part. Okay. Inflation is nothing but general price rise of various goods and services in the economy is known as inflation. General price rise. If general price rise 2% in every economy, 2% of inflation is usual. Otherwise, there will not be any stimulant for this productivity process and demand consumerism. But as far as India is concerned, up to 4% of inflation is permissible. If it is a developed country, 2%. Okay, this is not an inflation. Up to 2 to 4%. This is the limit of inflation. This is very important for the growth process. If it cross the 4% line, Lakshmana Rekha, okay, it could be danger for the economy. Okay, the persistent inflation is nothing but this price rise is prolonged. Okay, continuously increasing for the various price of the various goods and services in economy is known as inflation. How it will impact economy? First, there is one kind of this relation is there. Okay, if inflation increases, okay, it leads to what would happen? Price rise. Price rise. If it price rise, the price of the goods and services increases, the people will have to spend more prices. That's why more money. Okay, less for saving. Saving rates will decline. If savings rate decline, next consequence is less investment. Less investment. If investment is less, okay, there is a productivity that will affect the productivity, that will affect the labor, jobs creation. Okay, less jobs, less productivity. So slowly the economy will plunge into recession. Recession, less growth rate and recession. So, and less job creation, etc. Again, so in this way, it will turn to be a recession and economic depression. So that is why inflation will initiate a vicious circle in an economy, which leads to this one, further inflation, like this. This is the vicious circle. So inflation is the one of the dangerous and sign of an economy. If it is prolonged, if it is persistent, so that will affect initially the consumer price spending of the people. Next, saving rate of the people will decline. So if savings is decline, investment rate will decline. If investment rate will decline, this productivity and job creation will be affected. So this slowly economy, less growth rate will recorded. Less growth rate will turn to be recession. Okay, this recession slowly further increase of the inflation, further slowly plunge into recession and depressions also. So this is what the cascading effect of economy. So inflation is one of the greatest bad sign of any economy. That's why the government should take the measures to control this inflation. So as far as India is concerned, we have various fiscal policy and monetary policy. Fiscal policy on the part of the government, monetary policy on the part of the RBI, the central bank. Both combinedly will try to reduce this impact of the inflation. If inflation reduced, growth will be healthy. That is what. So this has been discussed in the Hindu. Slowing momentum and persistent inflation. It is related to recent issues only. But however, I created this an important. This is the static question itself. Thank you very much.